Ladies, I need you to hear me when I say this. There are things we're doing or not doing that are quietly wrecking our health after 70. And no one's warning us. No one's saying, hey, stop that. It could shave years off your life. Well, I will. I'm 74, and I've seen what happens when we ignore these habits. Some of them seem innocent, but trust me, they're not. So watch until the very end. One of these might just save your life. Quick pause. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which of these are you guilty of? Don't be shy. We're all learning together. Now hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. 1. Skipping strength exercises. Let's get one thing straight. My dear, just because we're over 70 doesn't mean we're made of glass. Fragile? No, we're seasoned. But here's the kicker. Our muscles don't care how wise we've become. They only care whether we're using them. When I hit 72, I noticed I was having more trouble getting up from my favorite armchair. I'd need a little rock forward, a little push from the knees, and a grunt that could wake the cat. I used to laugh it off. Oh, well, that's just old age, I'd say. But what I didn't realize is that I was slowly losing muscle strength, not just in my legs, but everywhere. It happens to all of us. After 70, we can lose up to 15% of our muscle mass per decade if we don't actively work to maintain it. And when the muscles weaken, our balance falters, our bones are less protected, and simple things like stepping off a curb or picking up the laundry basket become dangerous. I don't want to scare you, but a fall at our age can be life-altering. I've seen it happen to friends. One bad fall, and suddenly they're in a hospital bed, then a rehab facility, and then, well, not everyone makes it back home. The good news? It's never too late to fight back. I started small. I'd hold onto the kitchen counter and do a few squats while waiting for the kettle to boil. A few arm curls with soup cans while watching the morning news. Now, I've upgraded to little 2-pound hand weights, and I do chair exercises 3 times a week. It's not about looking like a bodybuilder. It's about protecting our independence. So if you've been avoiding strength work because you think it's too late, I promise you it's not. Your body will thank you, and so will your future self. 2. Drinking too little water. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a glass of plain old water? Not coffee, not tea, not juice, just water. Most older women I know don't drink enough of it. And I was guilty, too. I'd wake up, have my tea, maybe a second cup mid-morning, and then nothing. Maybe a sip here or there with lunch or dinner. I thought I was fine. But what I didn't understand is that our bodies lose the ability to sense thirst as we age. Just because we don't feel thirsty doesn't mean we're hydrated. Dehydration in older adults is sneaky. It can cause fatigue, confusion, dry skin, constipation, urinary tract infections, and even falls. Yes, falls. Dehydration affects your balance and coordination more than most people realize. It hit me hard one summer when I started getting dizzy every afternoon. I blamed the heat or my blood pressure, but the truth was I wasn't drinking nearly enough water. My body was begging for it. Now, I've made it a habit. I fill a small water bottle every morning and carry it around like it's my best friend. I drink a glass before every meal. I add lemon slices to keep it interesting. And if I'm craving something warm, I reach for warm water with a splash of ginger instead of another cup of tea. Our organs, our brain, our skin, they all need water like flowers need rain. Don't wait until you're parched. Hydration isn't a luxury. It's your lifeline. 3. Ignoring chronic stress. You know what we don't talk about enough? Stress. Not the obvious kind, like running late or dealing with a noisy neighbor. I'm talking about the chronic kind, the silent, simmering stress that settles deep in your chest and never quite goes away. After 70, many of us carry a quiet weight. Maybe we worry about our adult children. Maybe we've lost a spouse, or our finances feel tighter than they used to. Maybe we're simply afraid of falling, of forgetting things, of being alone. But here's the thing. Just because we've lived through a lot doesn't mean we're immune to the toll stress takes. Chronic stress keeps your body in fight or flight mode. That means your heart rate stays elevated, your blood pressure creeps up, and your immune system weakens. Over time, it can lead to inflammation, cognitive decline, sleep problems, and even weight gain around the belly. All things we absolutely do not need more of at this stage in life. For years, I thought stress was just something I had to deal with. But then I started noticing real changes, trouble sleeping, more aches and pains, even hair thinning. So I got serious about managing it. Now I meditate every morning, nothing fancy, just 5 minutes of breathing with my eyes closed. I journal before bed, letting the thoughts out of my head and onto paper. I also talk to someone, a friend, a counselor, even my dog sometimes. Getting the worry out of your chest is half the battle. So no, stress isn't just a young person's problem. It's ours too. And if we want to protect our hearts, our minds, and our health, we need to take it seriously. For eating like you're still 50. Here's a hard truth I had to swallow. I can't eat like I'm 50 anymore. Heck, I can't even eat like I'm 60. And believe me, it took a few health scares to realize that. The older we get, the more our digestion slows down. Our metabolism drops. We burn fewer calories just sitting still. So those big dinners, the cookies before bed, the third helping of mashed potatoes, they hit different now, not just on the waistline, but inside. The body starts to protest. I used to eat the way I always had. Big breakfasts with toast, jam, and bacon. Heavy dinners. Dessert almost every night. I justified it. I've earned it, I'd say. But the fatigue, the bloating, the blood sugar spikes, they all told another story. Now, I've learned to eat for my age. That means more fiber, more lean proteins, and way more vegetables. I eat smaller portions. I use smaller plates. It tricks my brain into feeling satisfied. I snack on almonds instead of cookies. I swapped white bread for rye. And I started cutting back on salt because let's face it, our blood pressure doesn't need any more encouragement to rise. But you know what? I still love my food. I still enjoy every bite. I just choose foods that love me back. So if you're still eating like it's 1985, maybe it's time to update the menu. 5. Avoiding the doctor out of fear. I want to be honest about this one because I know some of you will relate. For a long time, I avoided the doctor. I skipped appointments. I'd cancel last minute. I'd say, "Oh, I feel fine," or "I'll go next month." But the truth, I was scared. Scared they'd find something. Scared of tests, of bad news, of what it might mean. But ignoring problems doesn't make them disappear. It makes them grow quietly in the dark. A friend of mine, let's call her June, ignored a strange mole on her arm for months. Said it was nothing. When she finally went in, it was melanoma. If she'd gone in sooner, it might have been caught early. But it had already spread. Early detection saves lives. It really does. That goes for cancer, heart disease, diabetes, osteoporosis, you name it. A simple blood test, a quick screening, a 20-minute checkup can be the difference between a minor adjustment and a major crisis. Now, I go to the doctor twice a year, like clockwork. I keep a little notebook where I write down questions ahead of time. I ask about everything, and I don't leave until I understand what they're saying. You are your own best advocate. Don't let fear keep you in the dark. Let knowledge be your power. 6. Sitting too long. The chair. My beloved armchair with the soft cushion and cozy blanket. It used to be my safe place. and, if I'm being honest, my trap. After I retired, I found myself sitting a lot. Breakfast in the chair. Afternoon crossword in the chair. Evening news in the chair. Before I knew it, hours had passed, and I'd barely moved. I thought I was resting. What I was really doing was shrinking my flexibility, my circulation, my strength. Sitting too long is like rust for the body. The joints stiffen. The muscles weaken. The blood flow slows. You start to feel older than you really are. Now, I don't do anything for more than 30 to 45 minutes without getting up. I walk laps around the house. I march in place while brushing my teeth. I dance, yes, dance, while doing dishes. I even got myself a timer that dings every hour as a reminder. Get up, stretch, breathe, move. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need to stand up, often and intentionally, because sitting may feel comfortable now, but trust me, it's quietly draining your life force if you let it. 7. Overusing painkillers. I'll be the first to admit, when my knees started acting up, I reached for the painkillers like they were breath mints. A little stiffness, pop a pill, achy back, another one. I didn't think much of it. They helped, and that's all I cared about. But here's what no one told me. Over time, painkillers can quietly do more harm than good. Many of us rely on medications like ibuprofen or acetaminophen just to get through the day. But regular use, especially without supervision, can wreak havoc on your liver, your kidneys, and even your stomach lining. I've known women who ended up in the ER with bleeding ulcers because of it. Others developed high blood pressure or serious heart issues, all linked to just one more pill. The worst part, the painkillers start losing their effectiveness the more we use them, and before we know it, we're stuck in a cycle, hurting, masking the pain, and slowly damaging ourselves in the process. Eventually, I sat down with my doctor and had an honest conversation. We talked about alternatives, heat therapy, gentle stretching, anti-inflammatory foods, even acupuncture. Turns out there are other ways to manage pain that don't come with a warning label. Pain is a signal, not a nuisance to shut down. So if you're reaching into that pill bottle a little too often, it might be time to ask yourself, am I healing or just hiding? 8. Isolating yourself emotionally. This one hits close to home. There was a season in my early 70s when I stopped answering phone calls. I didn't feel like going out. Friends would invite me to lunch, and I'd say, maybe next time. I told myself I was just enjoying some peace and quiet, but the truth was I was slowly slipping into emotional isolation. And that kind of loneliness, it's deadly. Studies now show that chronic loneliness can be just as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases your risk of dementia, depression, heart disease, and even early death. But it doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it just feels like silence. Here's what I realized. We're wired for connection, no matter how old we get. We need someone to share a laugh with, someone to check in on us, someone to remember that we exist. So I made a rule for myself. I reach out to one person every day. A call, a message, a letter. I joined a local book club. Even if I don't finish the book, I still go for the conversation. I started volunteering once a week. And wouldn't you know it, the fog started to lift. My energy came back. I even started sleeping better. Don't let pride or routine keep you lonely. You're not a burden. You're a blessing. And the world still needs your light. 9. Skipping sleep like it doesn't matter. Oh, how many times have we said it? I'll catch up on sleep later. But after 70, skipping sleep isn't just about being tired. It's about stealing years off your life. I used to think sleep was optional. I'd stay up watching late-night television or scrolling through old photos, then toss and turn until 2 a.m. The next day, foggy brain, irritable mood, aches in places I didn't know existed. What I didn't know is that sleep is when the body repairs itself. It's when the brain detoxes. It's when our memories are sorted, our heart rate slows, and our cells go into healing mode. Consistently missing out on quality sleep increases your risk of Alzheimer's, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. It can even mess with your balance and coordination, making falls more likely. So, I got serious. I set a sleep routine and stuck to it. No screens after 8 p.m. A warm bath with lavender oil, a bit of soft music, and a good book, not a thriller, something gentle. And guess what? I sleep like a baby now. If you're treating sleep like an afterthought, it's time to rewrite the story. Sleep isn't lazy. It's medicine. 10. Saying, I'm too old to learn that. Let me tell you something outrageous. I took up watercolor painting at 75. I didn't even know how to draw a stick figure before that. But I was tired of telling myself, you're too old to try something new. That phrase, I'm too old, might be the most dangerous thing a woman can say after 70. When we stop learning, we start fading. Our brains thrive on challenge, stimulation, and novelty. Every time we learn a new skill, solve a puzzle, or try something outside our comfort zone, we create new connections in the brain, protecting it from decline. But too many women I know retreat into routine. They do the same crossword, the same TV shows, the same meals, the same habits. And slowly, without even noticing, the world starts to shrink around them. So I learned to paint. My friend started Spanish lessons online. Another one joined a choir for the first time. You don't have to climb a mountain or get a degree. Just pick something that makes your brain spark. Because the day you say, I'm too old, is the day you stop growing. And I don't know about you, but I plan to keep growing until my last breath. 11. Trusting your memory too much. Now, don't laugh, but I once put the milk in the pantry and the cereal in the fridge, and I didn't notice until dinner. I used to laugh these little slips off. Oh, I'm just getting forgetful. But over time, I realized that memory loss doesn't always arrive with a big announcement. It sneaks in through the back door, little by little, like fog over a hill. The danger is when we trust our memory too much and stop writing things down, stop making checklists, stop keeping up with mental exercises. We assume we'll remember. Then the appointment gets missed, the medication goes untaken, or the stove stays on. Our memory is like a muscle. It needs attention. I started doing brain games on my tablet. I keep a giant calendar on the fridge. I even use sticky notes again, just like I did in the 90s. And here's the big one. I take it seriously. I don't ignore memory slips anymore. I track them. I tell my doctor. I share them with my family. Because staying sharp isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about putting tools in place to keep you that way. There's no shame in needing support. There's only danger in denial. 12. Comparing yourself to younger women. This one, it's tender. I used to look in the mirror and see everything I wasn't. Not as slim as I once was. Not as smooth-skinned. Not as quick on my feet. I'd see younger women on TV or walking down the street and think, she doesn't even know what's coming. But then something shifted. I realized that every wrinkle on my face is a line of poetry written by laughter, tears, and time. This face has comforted children, buried loved ones, kissed lovers, and seen sunrises in every decade since the 50s. How dare I dishonor it with comparison? Here's the truth. Comparing ourselves to younger women steals the joy of who we are right now. And that joy, that peace, it's vital for your health. When you feel constantly less than, your body carries that stress. Your heart feels it. Your posture reflects it. You start making decisions from shame instead of confidence, and that impacts everything from your relationships to your health choices. So I started speaking kindly to myself. I found beauty in my silver hair, in my soft hands, in the way I still move through the world with purpose. You're not competing with anyone. You are the living proof of a life well lived. And that's more radiant than any wrinkle cream could ever promise. Any of this hit home, you're not alone. I've lived it. I've made the mistakes. But I've also made the changes, and it's never too late to turn things around. Love letter. And if you'd like more honest, practical advice like this, straight from one older woman to another, sign up for my free Savvy Senior newsletter. It's where I share weekly stories, health tips, and reminders that aging doesn't mean fading. It means shining even brighter. Backhand index pointing, right? And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below telling me which of these habits surprised you the most. Take care of yourself, dear. You're worth it.